Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Willow, brought to us by Capcom. Willow, based on the 1988 film with the same name, is probably one of the best examples of a licensed movie game that has ever come out on any video game system. While there may be some differences from the movie to the game, it still ends up being one of the best experiences of a licensed game, and it ends up being a really fun game to play. In Willow, we play as the aspiring sorcerer Willow, as he's traveling to Knockmere Castle to take out the evil Badmorda, who has done many horrible things to the land. Many of these include some curses that have been placed on many different people, and Willow is the one who will get rid of these curses. So here we go with Willow on the NES. So one of our main goals in the game is to get rid of the curse of Finrazil, who got turned into a possum, in order to get the help from her in order to take out Badmorda. The gameplay for Willow is very similar to The Legend of Zelda. As we travel along with Willow, we go from area to area talking to many different people, taking on different bosses, and getting farther into the game and getting closer to Knockmere Castle. One of the few negative aspects about the game, especially your first times playing it, is the NPCs aren't always that helpful in terms of actually pointing you in the right direction. We start off by entering this house and speak with Von Carr, who will give us our first weapon of the game, the Longsword. Throughout Willow, there's different armor that you can get for your shields, different amounts of swords, which each sword is different and can actually hurt or not hurt different enemies depending upon what type of sword it is, as well as different magical spells to learn to help you out as well. As you can see in the upper left corner, right now we are currently level 1. The meter below that, the E meter, will show us how much experience we have. Each time we defeat an enemy, they will give us different amounts of experience so that we can level up. Every time we level up, we'll get more magic and more health. As of right now, though, we don't have any magic as we have to learn our first spell in order to get that magic. In this run of the game, I won't be leveling up too much as I won't be doing too much grinding. I'll actually be completing the game at the lowest possible level, which is 13. You must reach level 13 in order to actually be able to get certain plot points in order to complete the game. Most of my grinding, though, won't come till near the end of the game, in which case I will do an edit in order to get past that grinding. Throughout the course of the run, you're going to see plenty of enemies that I'm going to stop and fight, but there's also going to be quite a few that I'm just going to run through, sometimes taking 1, 2, or 3 hits just to get past them. A lot of this is done because the enemy that I run through either takes a lot of hits to kill, or it's just much faster to go past him since the experience I would gain just wouldn't be worth stopping and fighting him for. In the second town area of the game, we're going to have to head to the lower left corner in order to get into a house that's going to give us the shield as well as a little bit more info, including that the village chief's father has actually been changed into a demon. He also informs us that the village chief will give us more info, so that's going to be our second stop while in this town. Of course, make sure that you do equip the newly gotten shield, as this will stop a lot of projectiles that some of the enemies will throw out at you. The village chief will give us the heal mace. Now the heal mace is probably the most important of the spells that we're going to get throughout the game, as this will heal us every time that we use it. I will be using the heal mace a lot throughout the game to heal me up, especially when walking through certain enemies, as this will allow me to walk through, take a little bit of damage, and heal right before I would die in order to make sure that I'm actually able to get through them. One key thing to know about the enemies throughout the game is that they will spawn randomly on screens. You're never quite sure until you enter a screen whether or not the enemies that will appear are actually going to be there or not. You'll see throughout the run there's going to be some screens where there's no one on it, and then the next screen will have enemies. And when you would play the game, it may be the opposite, or you may have enemies on both, or no enemies on both. This is the first of the giant creatures that you fight throughout the game. There's a few of these large monsters and different versions of them that you'll have to fight throughout. This first one's relatively easy to either walk through while using the heal mace, or if you want to stop and fight him for some decent experience. The key for fighting him though is every time you deliver a hit to him, he's going to launch out a 3-shot spread shot. Now you can block certain shots with the shield, but the best way for me usually to avoid them is just getting a rhythm of backing away a little bit and walking in between two of the shots. Then go right back, deliver a hit, back away, and this time go to the opposite direction to go in between the shots. Getting used to this pattern, you should be able to dodge most of his fireballs while also delivering hits. Now of course, each of the areas where you're going to fight him may be a little bit different, so you may have to switch up your pattern of movement depending upon the plane of field that you're actually fighting him on. This treasure chest contains the gold statue, which we need in order to advance in the game. Most of the chests throughout the game also contain the Light of Life, which will instantly refill your health as well as your magic. With that item in hand, we now have to do a little bit of backtracking. Right now, as we work our way through this path of the forest, we're trying to get to the first cave or dungeon of the game. Inside this dungeon will actually be our first real boss battle of the game, which is the demon form of the father of the chief. That gold statue that we picked up is needed in order to actually enter the cave.